The pieces of the puzzle that I've decided provides, there's 10 of them. Tools and resources are 2 of them. We're a source of information, a source of motivation, a resource for the people that might need a little bit of encouragement. If this show, The Source, can help our members do that, I'm all in and I'm excited. Host of The Source. We are here again downtown Peoria at the lovely Widecast Studios, and had to wait outside just a few minutes for Tim to get here, and I'm not complaining. My goodness, what a difference a week makes. It was so gorgeous out. My car said 50 degrees, and here we were a week ago, and everybody was kind of shut in, and the wind chills were like 20 below zero or something. So how crazy can it be here in the lovely central Illinois? But I think the seasons are changing, and as I sit here and talk, I share every month. You know, I'm the fourth Tuesday is when we do The Source, and welcome all of our members of I've Decided. Thank you for tuning in, and I just never can get over where does time go? I mean, February's almost over. Next week's going to be March. It's just unbelievable. But you might hear in the background here, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce. I'm so excited for today's show because a great friend of mine, Troy Alexander, is joining me as my guest, and he's been a longtime friend, basically from day one. The first time we met, we kind of hit it off, and been a member of I've Decided now for a few years. He's got the designation of being our first success partner. And so when I knew that we were going to be talking about the weekly winning word flourish today, Troy immediately came to mind, and I'm so happy that you're here to join me today, Troy. I'm excited. I hope you are. I'm excited. Knock it out of the park. He asked me on a scale of 1 to 10 how much I wanted from him today. Those of you who know him, don't be too scared. I told him 10. I said, give me all you got. So we're going to see what happens there. But thanks so much for being here, and I hope you're enjoying the weather also. And as we kind of dive right in, every show for The Source kind of centers around the weekly winning word. I shared that with you ahead of time that we'd be talking about flourish today. So I'm just going to start out with the definition of flourish. According to the articles, the definition is to grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way.
Well, I like the vigorous part.
What about the healthy part?
That too, but
it's
got a little bit more energy from the vigorous part.
Vigorous kind of gets you going. I understand that. Well, needless to say, I mean, you just are an excitable person anyway. You got great charisma, a bunch of energy. It's always a pleasure visiting with you. When you hear that word flourish, though, what fires off in your head? What kind of emotions or feelings do you get when you hear the word flourish?
We're, recently talking is like when I first heard the word, it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't feel a connection, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then, thinking it through a little bit, it's just like, flourish. What does that mean? Look at flourishing in our friendships,
mm-hmm.
flourishing in our marriages, flourishing in our businesses,
mm-hmm.
Our finances,
Right.
And it started to see a parallel that, I don't want to miss these.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote marriage, family, and your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Finances, relationship with the Lord,
mm-hmm.
your health, your career, your business,
mm-hmm.
your contributions.
So these are all the areas that, as you looked into the word, you were
Flourish.
thinking, this is where I need to apply this. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's awesome, because that's the whole point of having the word is
yes.
we want to talk about and see what can we do to apply it to our own success. So yeah, go ahead, hit on one of them.
And you just and I looked at what are the common characteristics that they all have.
Yeah.
Time,
mm-hmm.
in marriage, with your relationship, with your family, your kids,
mm-hmm.
your finances,
mm-hmm.
discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always have fun going to work out.
Right.
But it's not about the emotion. Do I feel like doing it today? That's not it. and the commitment and the sacrifices that it takes. And just financially, people, to flourish in their finances, it's going to take the sacrifice and the discipline and the time to make those contributions every month. I came from that background for 23 years as a financial advisor.
Right. And that's definitely what, I was wanting to at least ask the question, Troy, and we've obviously talked about it as we've gotten to know each other a little bit. But, I shared with you that when I hear the word flourish, I also pair it with the word thrive. And I think about, the idea that it's sometimes okay to be content with merely surviving. That's okay to be content. It's not a bad thing.
Who said?
But that's not the ultimate goal. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
I missed that class, Kurt.
Well, sometimes you need to be grateful for what you have.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, the goal is to flourish and thrive. And regardless of where it is or what season you're in or what your goals are, we want to be the best versions of ourselves. And everybody has a different path that allows us to get to that point. And you've shared with me, like I said, as we've got to know each other, yours wasn't maybe the typical one when it comes to getting to where you are today.
No,
and I'm referring to like your education and stuff. Just share a little bit.
I had aspirations to play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I had the arm. They told me I had the arm to make it to the big leagues. That I loved baseball.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I constantly worked to get better at it.
Mm-hmm.
In the classroom, I stunk. I mean, 15th from the bottom of my, class in 1981.
Mm-hmm.
Factual, that's where I graduated from.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. I was going to go play baseball, but that didn't happen. And then I find myself being a father at 18. Think I'm going to go play baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to work.
Yeah, life happened.
It happened. And, 1 job, 2 job, 3 job, no baseball. Was told that if I never went to college, I would never have a chance of making it. How would you like to have to live with that? That belief that was poured. And we all have different we all had somebody say something or do something to us. And that was tough to get over.
Well, yeah, but the point is you didn't allow it to stick.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't allow, but there was a gap.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I don't care what they say. I can just go work as hard as I would out on the baseball field, figure out something. I mean, I was working, Kurt, 75 to 90 hours a week for almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
See, most people don't know that.
Right.
That beginning.
Sure.
And fortunately, I had an uncle that poured into me.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't just my uncle. He was my mentor. He was my coach. He was my confidant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget being out in California, and he's drawing a circle and with a stick in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
I go, what are you doing? And he goes, we had a unique love language, so I cannot disclose that love language.
Yeah, not today.
If you keep doing what you're doing, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
If you want to get better, you got to change. The Jim Rohn. For things to get better, you got to get better. For things to change, you got to change.
Yeah.
And I was willing to do it because I didn't want to work 3 jobs for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And got into the finances. He led me into the finances.
Right.
In 23 years, I was partner in a firm, managing a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I was burned out. I was burned out. But the flourish, it's the commitment, it's the discipline, it's the attitude, it's the mindset, it's the belief.
Right.
It's working harder on yourself than you do anything else. And he drilled that into me, Kurt. Whatever you do, work harder on yourself.
Right.
And when you do that, everything around you flourishes.
Sure. And I think that's the key. That's something I want to talk about too is, obviously you said that was your uncle.
Yes.
That was, the key is to share it with others. In order for ourselves, our own inner well-being to flourish and to become ultimately successful, we have to be the best versions of ourselves so then we can in turn share it with others. which that over the last several years that you've shared with me is I know you've been very successful in like the network marketing arena and as far as a personal coach and mentor. Tell me a little bit about that and how you've taken the experience that he certainly added as you were growing up and then are now able to help others in turn flourish.
Well, I love building people. I love building teams.
You always say, what's that you say I don't just love coaching or what?
I don't just like coaching. I love
it. Yeah.
I love it. I coached, baseball and basketball for 25 years. And people, this is my pet peeve. People have so much inside of them.
Yeah.
But they don't access it. They don't go there to find it.
Right.
You said something, earlier about inspiring, empowering other people. We both do that.
Right.
I look at the community of I Decided that's a represent.
Oh yeah.
And so many people,
I want to help you a little when.
Thank you, because
and kind of where my mind's going is the environment. They get when another big part of the conversation with the weekly winning article and everything is in order to flourish, you have to be in the right environment, and if you're not, you have to change. And now you open a whole can of worms. People are afraid of change. We've got all the excuses at our disposal of why it is we can't follow through with what we're born to do. Is that kind of where you were headed? People struggle with that.
Well, if you've got a vision, this is Troy. I believe God had a vision, and we showed up, armed, equipped, enabled.
Yep.
And most of those people don't know what it's the whispers. It's the inspired ideas. It's the things that's in your heart. If money was no longer a concern, would you continue to do what you're doing today in your chosen field of profession?
You've mentioned that several. Think about that if you haven't. What would you do today?
Today.
You knew that money was not an issue.
You didn't. Yeah. Would you keep doing what you're doing?
Right.
And Kurt, there's only a small percentage of the population that could say yes.
Right.
Teachers. I love teachers.
They're not doing it for the money.
No. But so many people, a small percentage would say yes, but most would say no.
Right.
Then what would you do? It's that thing you think about all day long.
Right.
It's that thing you think about before you go to bed. It's the thing you think about when you wake up. Right. It's what you think about when you see somebody else experiencing it. You just feel it. It energizes you. Go get that.
Figure out what that is.
Yeah, and most people know what it is.
Right.
But they don't know how to get there.
Sure.
They see it in what a coach, a partner, we help you build a bridge.
Yes.
We pull in the tools. We pull in the resources. It's based on what's on the other side of your bridge. Everybody's view is different.
Yeah.
But the process to build the bridge,
it's tough.
It's for people to do it on their own.
Yeah. And that's the big thing, like you said, and that comes to mind with the community of I've Decided, and we even name our community room The Garden, because that's the environment where we can all come together, like-minded people, all passionate about finding our purpose. We lift each other up in power, but it's where dreams grow.
Absolutely.
It's where the people that understand that that's what it takes, in order to flourish, you got to surround yourself with like-minded people that are going to lift you up. And you're a perfect example of one of those people that have the ability to work and coach and mentor. And that's for sure one thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap this up is, you started kind of down a new path. And just share a little bit if you can. I know you might need to be a little bit careful with what you reveal, but basically it's the idea of getting to youth or getting this message across to younger people and help them learn it sooner rather than later.
that was one of the two visions that God had given me.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was to be a voice for abused and battered and neglected kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'd had that in my heart for a long, long time, but I didn't act on it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the first conversations we had. Yeah.
And I finally, after reading a powerful read, for those that love to read, add this book to your library, The Principles and Power of Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Last fall I read that book. It became clear that I wasn't honoring his vision. I've been chasing mine, Kurt.
Yeah.
You know, and not that it was a bad thing,
Right.
but it was that finally came out. I got to make a difference for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
All these gifts and talents, and I say this humbly. It's not about me.
Right.
But these gifts and these skills and these talents and this knowledge that so many people, have acquired.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make it wasn't just mentoring one young boy, which I've been doing for a month.
Mm-hmm.
His story would rip your heart out.
Oh, I'm sure.
It'd rip it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, I need another one. Give me two of them.
Yeah.
And as of a few days ago, I've had the second person that raised their hand and said, I want to be a mentor too.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what's in your heart to give back.
Right. And I can tell with the emotion that, just confirming that you're the type of person that's being called to do just that. And for you to be that type of person requires that inner health, that inner desire, all of those things that, maybe some of the hardships and the naysayers and everything as you grew up, that's all happened for a reason. It got you and built you to man you are today, and are now able to give back in such an incredible way. I can see this being the beginning of, this one or two.
Second vision that I'm not going to share with today.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my. This one's powerful.
Sure.
You feel that.
Yeah, obviously.
It's when you can't compare it. It's so much bigger.
Yep. So for you to flourish, a lot of it was, you mentioned time is one that's constant through whatever it is. You got to be patient. But you got to also be prepared, because when the time comes, he's done all those things to prepare you.
Look at all these things, amazing things that we all have.
Mm-hmm.
When I stay connected
Mm-hmm.
to him,
Mm-hmm.
to his word,
Yep.
committed, following the instruction book,
Mm-hmm.
and honoring what's in that instruction book.
Which we all have available to us. Yep.
Everything in your life will flourish.
Mm-hmm.
You're connected, to have a gift,
Yeah.
which we have,
Right.
to inspire and empower other people.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has access to that gift.
Yeah. Well, I've referred to it as the 3 Ps sometimes, and if you're lucky enough, like you said, so many people just, for whatever reason, can't find it, but the 3 Ps being, you follow your passions, you find out what you're passionate about. As you follow through on those passions, more than likely you're going to be guided to your purpose. And then if you're lucky enough, like you and I, we can turn it into a profession. And, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, Troy is designated as I've Decided's first success partner, but I'm happy to say at this point we are fellow success partners. We have the community has a team of people just like Troy and I that are here to serve others and to do the best we can to help people find and flourish whatever their goals and dreams might be. Like we said, I've decided the whole point is our mission is your success. If you've not become a member of I've Decided yet, I strongly encourage you, go out to ivedecided.org, look us up. You'll find all kinds of information about Troy and I out there and the other success partners in the group. Become a Launch My Success member. It literally takes 2 minutes. And like Troy's saying, once you become a member, you have a choice. You can pick he or I or one of the others in the group, and that's what we're here for. We're passionate about you flourishing in our time while we're here. So, speaking of time, I can't believe it, but
we're out of time
what a
already.
Great show, yeah. It's as a matter of fact, we're running a little bit over, but thank you so much, brother,
Thank you for the
being here. This
opportunity.
this is awesome, and
You're amazing. You know
thank
what?
you very much, and
Man.
all of you, thank you for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the week. Let's welcome, hopefully, knock on that spring's right around the corner, and I will see you next month right here on The Source. Have a wonderful day.
PeoriaLife.com